Hi, kindergarten. The end of the last chapter, Jack and Annie found the tree house. They looked out the window and they saw that boat going across the sand. Were they just imagining that, or was that really happening? But luckily they had the Pennsylvania book. They made the wish to go home. The treehouse spun and spun and spun, and hopefully that treehouse's magic took us back to the Frog Creek woods, and we're back home out of that hot Egyptian desert. Chapter 10 is called Another Clue. I'm wondering what kind of clue we get in this chapter. I'm excited for you to find out. Today we're going to think about story grammar. Story grammar is where we think about what happened at the beginning of the story, what happens in the middle of the story, and what's happening at the end of the story. Kind of like with a butterfly's life. It starts out as a caterpillar, it goes in its chrysalis, it becomes a butterfly. Something happens at the beginning, the middle, and the end. And we can think all the way back to the very first chapter of our book, what happened in the middle of our book, and what happened at the end of our book. And we're going to talk about that as we read. Let's get started with my reading voice. I'm going to read you the words that are in the book. Another Clue is what this chapter is called. It's the last chapter in the book. Late morning sunlight shone through the treehouse window. Shadows danced on the walls and ceiling. Jack took a deep breath. Take a breath with me. He was lying on the floor of the treehouse. I wonder what Mom's making for lunch, said Annie. She was looking out the window. Jack smiled. Mom, lunch, home. It all sounded so real and calm and safe. I hope it's peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, he said. He closed his eyes. The wood floor still felt cool to him. Boy, this place is a mess, said Annie. We better make it neater in case Em comes back. What she just said about Em coming back made me think about the beginning of the book. Remember how Jack was looking around the bushes? He's wondering if the M person is around there. So Annie's still wondering that too, and she's thinking we better make this place look nice in case the M person comes back. Whoever the treehouse belongs to. Let's keep reading. Jack had almost forgotten about M. Would they ever meet this mysterious M, the person who seemed to own all of the books in the treehouse? Let's put the Egypt book on the bottom of the pile, said Annie. Good idea, said Jack. He needed a rest before he visited any more ancient tombs. What do you think? Do they want to go back there again? What I read tells me probably not. If they're putting that book on the bottom of the stack, they probably don't want to go there anytime soon. It says they need a rest from that. Let's put the dinosaur book on top of the Egypt book, said Annie. Yeah, good, said Jack. He needed a long rest before he visited another T-Rex. The castle book can go on the top of the pile, said Annie. Jack nodded and smiled. He liked thinking about the knight on the cover of the castle book. He felt as if the knight were his friend. Jack, said Annie, look. Jack opened his eyes. She was pointing at the wooden floor. What is it? He asked. You have to see for yourself. Jack groaned as he got up. He stood next to Annie and he looked at the floor. He didn't see anything. Turn your head a little, said Annie. You have to catch the light just right. Jack tipped his head to one side. Something was shining on the floor. What do you see there? Do you see a letter? It goes this way. What letter do you see? Oh my goodness. A letter came into focus. The letter M. It shimmered in the sunlight, kind of like it's sparkling in the sun. This proved the treehouse belonged to M. Absolutely for sure. No question, no doubt about it. Okay, use your thinking voice and remember what we've read before. We have read before that Jack and Annie found a medallion with the letter M, the bookmark with the letter M, and now where do we see the letter M? We see it on the treehouse floor. Oh, this treehouse must belong to somebody whose name starts with M. Jack touched the M with his finger. His skin tingled. Just then, the leaves trembled. The wind picked up. "Let's go down now," he said. Jack grabbed his backpack. Then he and Annie climbed down the ladder. As they stood on the ground below the treehouse, Jack heard a sound in the bushes. "Who's there?" he called. The woods grew still. "I'm going to bring the medallion back soon," Jack said loudly. "And the bookmark, too. Both of them tomorrow." "Who are you talking to?" asked Annie. "I feel like M is nearby," Jack whispered. Annie's eyes grew wide. "Should we look for him?" But just then, their mother's voice came from the distance. "Jack! Annie!" Jack and Annie looked around the trees, then they looked at each other. "Tomorrow," they said together. Are they going to look for the M person today? No, they need a break tomorrow. And they took off, running out of the woods. They ran down their street. They ran across their yard. They ran into their house. They ran into their kitchen. They ran right into their mom. She was making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, just like Jack wanted. Could you see that picture? Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's what he said he wanted for lunch. Jack and Annie need a rest before they try to find anybody else or go anywhere else. They need a rest. And sometimes we do too. Here's what I thought was important in this chapter. Wow, I remembered from the beginning of the story how they were so worried about the M, or Jack was more worried about the M person being there and them being in the M person space. And now we found another clue that's made us think, yes, this is definitely the M person's treehouse. We found a medallion, a bookmark, and the treehouse floor all have the letter M on them. That was pretty cool when they saw that M on the floor. Okay, that was the end of our book. We're going to put the events of the book in order. We're going to put the story in order and remember what happened. Remember, at home, you can always pretend like you're Jack and Annie, just like we would at school, where we pretend like we're the characters in the story and we do what they do and say what they do. And I hope you have lots of fun with that. This was an exciting book. Lots of interesting things to see. And it gave us another clue about who this treehouse might belong to, our third clue. Hope you love this book as much as we do. Can't wait to read the next one together.